Like a boat is taken this way, that way because of the winds. Likewise, your indriyas can push you this way or that way. For indriya sukha or indriya artha, you can make lot of mistakes. So keep a check on your indriyas. It is the idea of yoga. Next is 12th shloka. Naiva vacha na manasa praptum shakyo na chakshusha asti iti bravato anyatra katham tad upalabhyate. As we have already seen, naiva vacha, by words we cannot gain it, na manasa, by minds we cannot grasp it and the senses, na shakyo chakshusha, by eyes we cannot see it, that we have already seen. So how do we get to know this? Because this is beyond our perceptions, beyond even our imagination. How do we get to know it? He says, asti iti bruvataha, the one who says it exists, to him alone. For others who don't believe that it exists, katham tadupalabhyate, how will it be attained? Suppose you don't even know that it exists, you don't believe that it exists. Then in what way can you attain it? Because mind, body and all cannot show you that it exists like an object. Even in the mind you cannot imagine that it exists like that. Somebody talks to you about America, then you imagine America means tall skyscrapers, New York like this, and things like that. You have not seen it physically, you have not been there, but your mind is able to imagine. This your mind cannot imagine. These words cannot describe. This cannot be seen directly with your eyes. So how do you know? The only person who still believes that it exists, though he cannot grasp it with the senses and with the mind, yet he or she believes it exists, to them alone it becomes available. For others, how is it possible to believe that? Once a boy was there, he had to cross the forest to go to school. So mother said, don't be scared, always think Krishna, your brother, is there with you, and he'll walk with you to the school and walk you back home in the evening. He is simply a little child without using much brains, and believed innocently whatever mother said. And then what happened? He started going to the school. And as he will enter the forest, in between he will call out, Krishna, my brother, where are you? And little Krishna will appear by his side, and they will talk and play and on the way to the school. And after the school gets over, again Krishna will fetch him and walk him back to his home in the evening and disappear before just the forest, as the forest ends. So one day, as he was coming back, Krishna gave him some fruits to eat. And these fruits were very rare. They were not available in his part of the country. So when this boy came back home, he gave these fruits to the mother and said, this is what I have got. He said, where did you get these fruits? Krishna gave me. What are you talking? Which Krishna? Brother Krishna, the one who walks with me. You said he is my brother, he is my friend. That one. He said, no, that Krishna does not exist. He doesn't live here. But you said he lives. He comes every day. He gave me these fruits. You must have stolen this from somebody's orchard. This is a bad habit. Don't steal. So took a stick and started beating this boy for no reason. So boy ran to the forest saying, Krishna, you have to come and show yourself to my mother, because she doesn't believe and she's beating me, thinking I am stealing fruits from people's orchards. So mother also comes behind. Show me, where is your Krishna? If it doesn't show up, then I will go to give you a good thrashing. He says, Krishna, please come and show, otherwise she'll beat me. And then a voice is heard of Krishna. He says, oh dear friend, how do I come? How do I show myself to her? She does not even believe that I exist. So I cannot show myself to her. You believe that I exist, so you see me. She doesn't even believe that I exist. She simply talks. That is the problem. That is why asti iti bruvataha anyatra katham tad upalapyate. The one who believes that it exists and talks about it. Bruvata means svikrataha. Those who believes and understands and accepts the idea that Brahman exists. To that person only Brahman makes himself available. For others, those so-called proud atheists, where is the concept? They don't believe that the Brahman exists, so how will Brahman exist for them? That's why anta matramu yavara talachina anta matrame nenu. Whatever is your way of looking at God, that is how God becomes to you. If you think God does not exist for you. If God exists, exists. God exists as my father, brother, friend. My dearest, my beloved. Whatever way you think, God makes himself available to you like that. This is the idea. So the next shloka is one of the very important shlokas, the 13th shloka. It says, Asti ityevopalabdhavyaha तत्वभावेन चोभयोः अस्ति इति एव उपलब्धस्य तत्वभाव प्रसीदति. Two things are there here. Asti iti, that it is for sure. Upalabdhavyaha, the one who accepts this idea, the one who believes in this idea that Brahman exists. And second part is saying is tattva bhavena cha ubhayoh. Tattva bhava means the experience of Brahman. Ubhayo means these two are there. What two? One, that you believe that Brahman is and can be realized. Second, the realization of Brahman itself. These two things are there. Tattva means that ultimate principle, divine principle. Bhava means to have understood and through your experience. Abhava means not able to experience it. Bhava means in bhavana, in your feelings you are able to experience it. Then what happens between the two? Asti iti eva upalabdhasya, the one who believes that Brahman exists and can be realized. What happens to such a person? Tattva bhava prasidati. That ultimate divine Brahman principle makes himself available, make himself experienced by such a person. So the first criteria of realizing Brahman is to first believe that Brahman exists. That is why in the beginning itself Nachiketa asks, ye prete vichikitsa manushye, asti iti eke, na asti iti cha eke. Some people believe it exists, some people don't believe it exists. So how do I go about? And that is the answer he has given. There are people who believe that it exists and can be realized. To such people, it becomes a realizable goal. For others who don't believe it exists, there is no realization possible. So, asti iti. So, you can think from this point of view. Remember, we heard the story of those 10 students who were crossing the river. And they thought one of them has drowned and started crying. And they counted wrongly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th they don't know and they're crying. Then a guru comes by. He says, why are you crying, my dear children? We are crying because one of us had drowned. How many of you were there who started? 10 of us. Oh, you are 10? No, we are not 10, we are 9. We just counted. Guru says, you are counting it wrong. Stand up, I'll tell you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, you are the 10. He says, no, I don't believe you. Then what he says, you count for yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then Guru turns his hand saying, 10th. You are the one who is counting is the 10th. Asti. You are there. And now Asmi. From Asti to Asmi is the journey. Asti means it exists. Asmi means I am only that. Brahmasmi, Ahamasmi, Sohamasmi, Brahmahasmi. I am the one. I'm not looking outside somewhere. I have to look inside. This is where that is. So journey is Asti iti to Asmi iti. Guru will teach you what? Asti iti. What should be your effort? Asmi iti. Guru can only point, count, it is within you. Look where it is. And what you have to do? You have to look. I can only guide you towards the canteen. Eating the food is your problem. I can't eat for you, sleep for you, breathe for you. So I can only teach you how far? Asti iti. Shastrasya, Guru Vakasya, Satya Buddhyavadharanam. You can at best believe my word, what I am saying. Shraddha sa katita sadbhi yaya vastu palubhyate, it says. The one who believes in the Shastras that Brahman exists, or the Guru Vakya that Brahman exists, has Sattva Buddhi, he understands and believes it. That is called Shraddha. And what happens to such a Shraddha person? This Shraddha will take them to Vastu Uplabhyate, to the realization of the self. This Shraddha is good enough, they say. Shraddhavan labate jnanam, tatpara sanyatendriyaha, jnanam labdha parashantim, achirena tadigacchati, Bhagavad Gita says. The one who has Shraddha, labate jnanam, will attain jnana. Also, tatpara in the samyatendriya, by controlling his senses. Remember the previous shloka? Thiram indriya dharanam. The one who has controlled his senses and mind and has tremendous Shraddha, what happens to him? Jnanam will come to him. And Jnanam labdha, after he attains Jnanam, what happens? Parashanti. Shanta Atmani. Ultimate peace comes to that person. No more restlessness, no more vagaries, no more running around, desiring for things. All this disappears. Parashantim. Achirena tadigacchati. How, when will it come? After your retirement? After your death? In the next loka? No. Now, here. Without delay, it will come to you. So, most important spiritual qualification is Shraddha. So that is why I told in the beginning, Shraddha Avivesha Tasmaihi. This Nachiketa was overcome by Shraddha. And he went and told his father, Father, what are you doing? Think a little bit. Anupashya yatha purve, pratipashya yatha pare. Think a little bit, what are you doing? Shraddha. Nachiketa had tremendous Shraddha. And what is this Shraddha? To believe in the Shastra Vakya. Nachiketa saw his father was doing against the Shastras. Or whatever father might have taught him. Father might have been his guru. But he's going against his own words. Therefore he got up and said, Sir, what you are doing is wrong. My teacher got angry. Out of the class. That is not right. But Nachiketa gained much by coming to Yama actually. So this is the idea that the first thing is to believe that God exists. For those who don't believe God exists, God will never show up. They will, like this little child who believes Krishna exists. The same mother who taught that Krishna exists doesn't believe it exists. Something you tell the child for the sake of time pass. No, that is wrong attitude. So if you believe that it exists, Brahman becomes so happy. Because why did he create in the beginning? Nobody knows who I am. That was Brahman's problem. I am here, but nobody knows. Other than me, no one knows. So what can I do? I'll create. And I will make sure that other people are created. And the only purpose of creation was for them to know that Brahman exists. Otherwise, why would Brahman create anything? The very idea I created the world is that world should know that I exist. This is the manifestation of mine. Otherwise, Brahman is not happy. Now think of the whole world. Other than trying to think that Brahman exists, they have gone to the level saying, Brahman kya, God, nothing exists beyond this world and this mind and these senses. That's all that it is. Nasti paramiti mani, it said in the previous shloka. This one is, nothing is after that. Puna puna vashama padyate. They come in the clutches, grip of Yama again and again. Why? Because they never realize. So such people who don't want to know Brahman, realize Brahman and do what Brahman wants, should they not receive some punishment for this misbehavior? They should. What is the punishment? Their karma and their karma phalas. Punarjanma, punarmarana, and every time you are born, suffer in another way or some way or the other. Keep doing karma, kama, karma, karma phala, kama, karma phala, keep going on the cycle. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam. Keep doing that. Why? Because you didn't do what Brahman wants you to do. That is the whole purpose of why he created this world. Leaving that aside, you are busy with everything else. Father sent you to the market to buy his medicines. You took the money, bought peppermint chocolates, ate it, finished, father died at home. That cannot be the way. The purpose for which you have come in this world, that cannot be lost. Then why Brahman created so many distractions? Should I have kept it straight and simple? That is also Brahman's love only. That's why Pratibodha Viditam Matam. See Brahman in everything. Then where is the question of you rejecting something or accepting something? In everything you see Brahman. That is also the way of realizing Brahman only. Sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. Krishna says, the one who sees me in everyone. I am the indweller of everyone. And everyone is in me. So such a person, if he is engaged in the world, he is not bound. Because he is engaged with the Shantatmani level. For such a person, he is a living reality, he is a living Brahman. Brahman is very happy. But for those who have started on this path, Indriyani Sthiradharanam, Buddhischana Vicheshtate, all this they have to do. But more important than anything else, this thing that Asti Iti, Brahman is, that makes Brahman very happy. And Tattva Bhava Prasidati. Once he becomes happy, king is happy with you, then you have all the luxuries. He will give you what he wants to give you. So that is what you have to attain, win the heart of God. How? By loving God. First believing God exists, then you loving God, and because of that you win God. 14th shloka. Very important shloka. These two shlokas are very important. 14th shloka. Yada sarve pramuchyante kama yasya hridishritaah atha martyo amruto bhavati atra brahma samashnute. This is one of the most important. In fact, you can think this is the crux of Kathopanishad's idea of Brahma Nirvana. What it says is Yada sarve pramuchyante kama yasya hridishritaah. When all the desires which are occupying one's heart, Heart again does not mean the physical heart. It is the core of one's life and one's existence. Heart of the city. It means the center, the most important. So when kama, the desires, occupy the most important part of your life, in the sense all your life is revolving around your desires, fulfillment of desires. When all such desires pramuchyante, they leave you. See, you are not leaving the desires. Desires are leaving you. Very strange. Till now we were telling struggle and remove your desires. They reach a stage by loving God so much that all other desires disappear on their own. Rumi says, I once had 1,000 desires, but in my one desire to know you, all others melted away. That is the idea. You love God, asti iti, and God becomes happy with you. And then what happens? Your desires leave you on their own. If you take through the path of God, kama sarve pramuchyante, desires will leave you. They'll say, this man is impossible. I cannot tempt this fellow. Let me go. Because he's always thinking of God. He's hardly giving me any attention. Suppose some friends are there. If you don't pay attention to them, do you think they'll continue to be your friends? They will leave you. You don't have to tell them explicitly, I don't want to be friends with you, go away. Just stop responding to them. Stop inviting them. Stop going around with them. Why? Because you're always attending satsangs, you're doing seva. You have no time to see movies and fool around in the city. So that is the whole problem in the world. Kamas are not something they want to catch us. We want to catch them. One man saw a black mass floating in the river. He thought it's a blanket. He thought if I catch hold of this blanket, I can use it during winter. And he jumped into the river to catch hold of the blanket. And then what happened? The blanket caught hold of him. Because it was a bear, not a blanket. And now people are saying, Arey, this flow is so strong. Leave that blanket. We can buy one more, you will die. He says, I want to leave the blanket. Blanket is not leaving me now. You got into that blanket business. Blanket didn't call you, come here. You got in with your desire, thinking it's a blanket. Like that you get into all kinds of friendship, thinking they're all nice people, how smart, how intelligent. This whole thing about being socially acceptable, it's a huge pressure on today's teens. If they're not invited to their friends' birthday parties, they feel ostracized and they feel so depressed. And just to be seen and known in their social circles, accepted amongst those group, how much pressure they take on themselves. Such a nonsense it is. Because they have no idea of what matters in life and what doesn't. So they run behind all kinds of karma. Suppose you turn the whole same passion, same desire, same vigor, same interest, you just turn it towards God. See what happens. You will make better friends, pure friends, satsanga, and durjana sangha will leave you on its own. Because other friends will say, he is not coming, she is not coming, why should we invite her and him? Done, you're done with all that nonsense called friendship. But so foolish are human beings. I've seen it from eldest people to the youngest. How attached they are to their friendships and relationships. They themselves know within their heart that none of them will come to their rescue in the time of need. They all know in their hearts that not a rupee they will give when they are in trouble. They know. Yet, just they can't get rid of this false idea of friendships and relationships. Same thing applies to all desires. These desires don't make you happy. You imagine that you are becoming happy because of the desire, like the dog that caught hold of a dry bone and kept on chewing on it, biting on it. In dry bone there is nothing, no, but slowly blood started coming. It thought, I'm enjoying the blood from the bone. But its own gum is bleeding now because of the hard bone which is going on biting madly. This is all the world is. Your desires and your friendships and your relationships. No, they've done so much. This is for me. I have promised this. All this is nonsense. In front of God, tyajed purusham kulasyartham, gyamasarthe kulam tyajed, gramam janapadasyarthe, atmarthe prithvim tyajed. As clear as this, your mind should be. For the greater good of society, individuals can be sacrificed. For the greater good of community, families can be sacrificed. For the sake of God, anything can be sacrificed. This world itself can be sacrificed. This clarity should not go away from your mind. That's why I say all tyago ananya ashrita, that's it. All the other things you give up and only stick to the feet of God. Then God will become happy. Say, here is my person who loves me above and beyond everybody else, everything else. His only goal is to realize me. Therefore, Yamaivesha Vrunate te labhya tasyaisha atma vivrunate tanum swam. Here I am revealing myself to you. And Pundalika could not come to Pandharpur. Panduranga went all the way. Why? Pure-hearted. So that is the idea. Pure-hearted person without any desires. And what happens? When you start loving God so badly, all desires will leave you. You'll think, no Swami, these Gyanendriya, Karmendriyas are not leaving me. Some problem or the other. 10 days I am fine, 11th day I am gone. What do I do? Don't worry, keep loving God intensely, intensely, intensely so much that your mind will slowly get absorbed in this. Akka Mahadevi ran away from home, from the mantap. She also a young lady only. She also had all the hormones raging, whatever we call. Then what made her become so dispassionate? This is the reason. Mirabai ran away. Mere to Girdhar Gopal. How? So also Surdas, so also Tulsidas. So also all the great saints. How could they maintain that chastity, purity, continence? Because their mind is absorbed in God. मेरा तो गिरधर गोपाल, दूसरों न कोई. I have nobody else other than my Girdhar Gopal for me. Everybody else is fake. Mata nasti, pita nasti, nasti bandhu sakha. This is the idea. Sarvam tvameva mata, pita tvameva bandhu. You try it out on God and see. Call God your father, see how he responds. Try God your mother, how he responds. Brother, how he responds. Sakha tvameva, as a friend you ask how he responds. In any form, Narada Bhakti Sutra says 11 types of asaktis you can call God by. Call Vatsalya Bhakti also can be there, like a child. In any ways you try to realize God, God will come to you and reveal himself to you. But don't run behind other kamas. Initially it all looks good, but they are all slow poisons. This is Preyo Marga, not the Shreyo Marga. So when from the heart of a person all the desires leave away on their own, they fall away because of this person's purity and absorption in the idea of Brahman. Atha martyo, then this immortal fellow, amruto bhavati, becomes immortal. And atra brahma samushte, then and there you become one with Brahman. You don't have to go to some other loka to become one with Brahman. You don't have to wait for your retirement and old age. You don't have to do some tirtha yatra or anything. Then and there where you are, here and now, you become Brahman when all desires leave your heart. See how simple. Is it not the desire why we are running behind things? And where are these desires coming from? Karma, kama, go back, avidya. From the avidya that we are the body, from the wrong notion that we are just this body, desires arise. This body has to eat and sleep and enjoy, looked after, live long, healthy, happy, handsome, beautiful, go on. Friendships, name, fame, recognition. All is to the body only. So for that sake we run. So avidya, then kama, desire, and then karma. Because with that we get into actions, and this karma lead to karma phala and janma phala and punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, goes on. So the next shloka precisely says this. The 15th shloka says, Yada sarve prabhidyante hridayasyeha granthayaha atha martyo amruto bhavati etavat hi anushasanam. Now yada sarve prabhidyante. Similar tone as the previous one, when all the desires leave that person's heart, such a person becomes immortal and realizes Brahman then and there. The second thought is, Yada sarve prabhidyante, all the knots of the heart, hridayasya granthayaha. The granthis means the knots, what is ignorance is called the knot of the heart. When that knot of the heart is cut asunder, then what happens? Where? Here only, iha, in this world only, not wait for another world. Not wait for another time and muhurtam. Here and now, when all the knots of ajnana, that is avidya, kama and karma, this is called as hridaya granthi, the knot in the heart, as if it got stuck. That one is cut asunder, what happens? Athamartyo amruto bhavati. Then and there the person becomes immortal. And etavat, this one itself, what? Anushasanam. This one itself is the scriptural instruction. There is nothing more to learn here. That is what the Upanishad is saying. If you understand this much, That the moment your body consciousness, this idea that you are the body and therefore all the desires have to be fulfilled, leave you, then and there you become Brahman. You don't have to wait for another time. That is why in our Ashtavakra Gita he says, Deha abhimanam pasham chirakalosi badho putraka. So you have been bound by this body consciousness called pasham, the noose. From when? Ever since putraka. That's why you are a child. So it says asanga shastrena or jnana khadgena. Yesterday we read asanga shastra is for the tree, to cut the tree down with the detachment or dispassion. Similarly there it says jnana khadgena, with this wisdom, cut it off. Tan nishkritya, cut it off. This bondage, this noose around your neck that you are the body which drags you everywhere. Look at the poor dog. When the chain is there or the leash is there, the leash drags the dog everywhere. Or a cow or a horse. Any animal, how do we control? By putting a noose and then pulling it. Likewise, this body consciousness is like the noose which has caught hold of us and it has been dragging this way, that way, through these senses, to that senses, to this experience and that experience of the world. So get rid of it. Once you get rid of it, free. You can go where you want. Nobody can ask you, nobody can stop you. Nirvasanam harim drishta. You become completely free. That is why it says, Antarvikalpa shunyasya bahi swachanda charinaha. Ashtavakra Gita says, we have inside all the desires, all the thoughts, ideas have become zero. Shunya. Inside. And outside, bahi swachanda charinaha. Roaming around freely. Nobody can tell such a person, this is to be done, this is not to be done, be like this, don't be like that. Whatever he does is right. Whatever he speaks is dharma, whatever he does is dharma. Satya dharma. Therefore, that person does not have to worry about anything or anybody else. He is free, fearless. If I pass by the market, will I get tempted to buy something? No, such things won't happen to that person. That is the idea of Brahmagyani. Free. Not bound by his desires, senses, mind and loka vyavahara. None of these apply to that person. He is free. That's why God intoxicated people look at the world as mad. And world intoxicated people look at God's people as mad people. You can't explain to them why what you are enjoying. They'll never understand. Bhrantaha, they will call us them as these people have lost their way, they are under illusion, their life is ruined. That's how the other people look at them and think they are all Bhranta. But their dasha, what is their actual situation, only another person in that situation will know. Nobody else will know. That's why Meera says, Mero dard na jaane koi. Nobody knows my pain. Nobody understands my pain, how much I suffer when I am not with Krishna. They think, why this lady is crying unnecessarily? Bhakti means okay, offer flowers in the morning, chant one Krishna Ashtakam and go home. What is this madness, they think? But I only know my Jauhari ki gati, Jauhari jane. Only a jeweler knows another jeweler, she says. Nobody knows who I am, what I am. Why? Because nobody is like me here. So I am always an outcast. Because whole of the world is one kind and I am another. That is what they think of the God-loving people. But the truth is that these are the people who are really Tesham Sukham Shashvatim Netaresham. They are the happiest, nobody else is happy here. So these are the people whose granthi in the heart, that I am the body, I am the deha, has been destroyed. They have been freed from all these illusions. They have no desires left and they become immortal and jnanis of Brahman here and now itself. So that is the power of these mantras. And I told you in the beginning, Upanishad means Upanishad. For sure, as you get closer to this truth, closer to the Guru, closer to the end of this Upanishad, what should happen to you? Shat should happen. Means avasadhana, some loosening of these knots should begin, if not the cutting of the knot. Destruction of the knot is the ultimate. But at least loosening of the knot should begin. And from Asti, you should start moving towards Asmi. Atmanam chet vijaniyad, Ayam asmi iti purusha. The one who realizes Atman. What is his realization? I am only Atman. Oh, I was looking for something else, thinking God is somewhere. I am only Atman. Kim michan kasya kamaya shariram anusvanjaret, says Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. When the person realizes, I am only that self which I was looking for, what is his reaction? For what desire? For what wants? Kim icchan. Kasya kamaya. For what wants and desires, shariram ansanjaret. Should he torture his body anymore? Take up all pressurizing jobs to earn more money, to pay more EMIs, to upgrade himself to a posher area. Why should he suffer like this, he's asking. The one who realizes I am the Brahman and I have no less Purnamada, Purnamidam, and all kamas have left me, I am free. I am not bound by anything. Such a person, why should he suffer in this world is the question Brihadaranyaka Upanishad asks. But when does it happen? When you realize who you are. Rasavarjas, Rasopi. Both the physical engagement with the desires and the mental engagement, interest in things. Param drishtva nivartante, says Gita. Once you realize that self, the external interest in things and even the internal interest. Externally you could have restricted yourself because of the fear, as Vivekananda says, there was a fear behind my purity. Out of fear you can be pure. That is physical behavior, you can manage. But mental dispositions also disappear. Param drishtva nivartante. Having seen the ultimate highest, even the mental agitations, mental gunas, what we call instincts, vasanas also disappear. That is the power of Brahma Vidya. 16th shloka. Shatam cha eka cha hrudayasya nadyah tasam murdhanam abhinisrutaika tayordhva mayan amrutatvameti vishwang anya utkramane bhavanti. This is the idea, this is nadis. Nadis are energy channels. They all start from the heart. The energy is where? The source of energy? Here. That angushta matram purusho, madhya atmani tishtati. That's where all the energy is, and from there, like the flames, rays go out all the directions in the energy channel. These are not the arteries and veins. The nadi, the Ayurveda will say nadi means checking your vein. But the actual meaning of nadi are the energy pathways in the body. In the Sukshma Sharira, they are not in the physical body. In the physical bodies, arteries, veins, nervous system is there. But in the Sukshma Sharira, there are so many nadis. How many? 101 start from the central area. They divide further into 100 each. And each of that 100 divides into 72,000. Prashnopanishad tells us about this. That from the heart start 101 channels. Each of them divides in 100. And each of them divide further into 72,000. And through all these nadis, Vyana Vayu flows. This is the idea in Prashnopanishad we hear. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, you know. And amongst all these nadis, this mantra says, out of 101 nadis which start from the heart, one of them, Eka, Murdhanam Abhinihi, one goes through the top crown of the head. Only one of them. All the others go in all directions. One of the nadi goes through the crown of the head, Murdha. Murdhanam means this area. And what happens? Tayo urdhvam ayannam amrutatvameti. When one travels through that nadi called Sushumna nadi to the Murdhanam, this Sahasrara chakra, what happens? Amrutatvameti, becomes immortal. There is no rebirth for such a person. Vishwang anya, if he travels in any other nadis which are flowing in all other directions, utkramane bhavanti, comes back again and again. So idea is what? That such a Brahmagyani ultimately leaves the body from where? Remember Aitareya Upanishad, where did Brahman enter this body from? From Murdhan, from the Vidriti. And stays in the heart and eye and all that. But when he has to leave, which door should he leave by? He should also leave by the same royal door. But if we have wasted all energy, sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha, no energy is left, our Udana Vayu has become very weak, almost dead. Then, while at the time of death, that Udana Vayu, which is supposed to take the prana, mana, everything and leave from here, is unable to rise. Like the water pressure is not there, so upper apartments don't get water. Then what happens? The upper apartment remain dry. Like that, this from the samana, only all the vayus get distributed. Samana only gives pana, it distributes balances, gives energy to vyana after digestion, gives energy to udana also. So udana is the net of energy. After the prana energy, upana energy, vyana energy, samana energy have been deducted. What is left is udana. And if udana is very strong, only then it can take the jivatma through the brahmarandra, because it has to rise upwards. Otherwise, whichever chakra, whichever gate is nearby, it will leave from there. And according to the gate that it leaves by, it comes back again through the same gate in the next birth. Suppose it is left from genitals, like an animal life he has lived, it will come back into a very animal body. Khana, pina, sona, marna. So this is the idea that why Udana Vayu should be very strong. For that what you need to do? Sthira, Indriya, Dharanam. You have to keep your Indriya steady. Otherwise Jarayanti Tejaha, all the energy will be spent away. All that the food you digest, where does the energy go? To sustain the body. In body which are functions are there, respiration, circulation and digestion itself, excretion and seeing, touching, tasting, smelling. All this is maintained by the energy. Now suppose you waste all the energy in wrong things, eat too much and then suffer indigestion, or fall sick because you ate or drank something which is contaminated, or in any part. The biggest loss of energy is viryam. That is written in every scripture. That's why brahmacharya is important. In the beginning, Akashat Zambhuta, Atmanam Akashat Sambhuta, Akashat Vayo Agnihi, Agni Apaha, Apa Prativya, Prativya Aushadayaha, Aushadibhyo Annam, Annat Purushaha, Purusho Annaha Rasamayaha. The essence of the Purusha is in his fluid, the rasa. And what is the rasa? Not the blood. There were 7 dhatus are there. But the most important dhatu is viryam. And if that is lost, then you lose all the energy, and that is the most, because kama is the most biggest enemy. After that, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara. It's in a decreasing order. The most strongest is kama. So Vishwamitra could not stay away from kama. He had given up everything. He was a king, could not control. That is how this has to be practiced as early as possible. Because after all the Jarayanti Teja has happened, then at 75, when body is no more able to engage in sensual pleasures, then you look towards God. Where are you, God? He says, where were you? I was there here all the while. Just now I left. I was waiting for you. 75 over, now you are looking towards me because everything is paining. Doctors have told you have got high blood pressure, you have got diabetes, you have got all kinds of organ failures. Now where are you, God? Where are you, God? Why are you torturing me? Are you not Karunamaya? Are you not Dayamaya? Are you not my father who will forgive the erring son? God will tell, this drama I have seen you doing many births before. This is not the first time you are doing this drama. I am not going to fall for this drama of yours. So therefore, Indriya and Indriyarthebhya, everything should be under control. And because the Bhagavad Gita says, Indriya, Indriyarthebhya, Raga, Dvesho, Vyavastitau. They are made in this way, in which they have Raga and Dvesha as their default ingredient component. Raga means attachment to things, Dvesha means running away, aversion to things. This is how Indriyas have been created. So don't expect them to behave in some other way. That is how they will behave. So how do I deal with them? Learn to control them. How do I control them? Let the mind not be engaged with them. Then what should be my mind be engaged with? Because my mind always wants to be busy, engaged with God. How do I engage with God? Do dhyana, japa, seva, bhakti, upasana. Choose any way. Take the mind away from the body and senses and engage them with God. I always give this example also. These Gopikas, they thought of Krishna only as their husband, even though they had husbands at home. They only thought Krishna only is their sarvam. So what happened? Naturally their lower desires of body diminished because they're only thinking of Krishna. They can't imagine anybody else. Look at Meera, Akka Mahadevi, or anybody, all these people. Or little people like Prahalada or Nachiketa here. Why did they? Because their mind was totally absorbed in God. So Indriyartheshu couldn't touch them at all. They have risen above. Therefore these things don't have the capacity to reach till there. They have crossed over the gravity of these senses. So those who live like that pure life, their Udana Vayu is strong, and through Sushumna Nadi at the end, the Brahman or the Jiva leaves from the main gate, the royal king's gate, not from the side gates, because whichever gate the Jiva leaves by, next birth in the womb it enters from the same gate. Somebody asked me, when does Jiva enter this body, Swami? I told, when the heart starts beating, that is, you should know Jiva has entered. So that is the time when the spark in the heart is the presence of Jiva. It begins the life processes. So once the child gets his own heart, that's how it is. Now, almost the last shloka, 17th one. But he reminds that don't get into too much of this Hatha Yoga and all these Nadi Shuddhi Yoga and things like that. Remember, Angushta matra purusho antaratma sada jananam hridaye sannivishtaha tam swat sharirat pravrhena munjadi veshikam dhairyena tam vidyat shukram amrutam iti. It is saying that Purusha is there as the Angushta matra, the thumb-sized light that we have already seen earlier, and Antaratma, it is within everyone. Who all Sada, it's always there. You can't say it was not there when I was doing some evil things. No, it was still there. Then Jananam, all the beings, Hrudaye Sannivishta, in the core of their existence, the heart area, this Purusham is there in all the beings at all times. Then Tam, that one, Swat Sharirat, from your own body you have to separate. Separate in the idea like realize that Brahman is not this body. Brahman is in the body, that is the idea they are telling you here. So you should be able to separate that, distinguish between the two. That body is the I consciousness that you think you are is wrong. The truth is you are Brahman. This Dehabhimana and Atmabhimana are two different things. Remember that. So Swat Sharirat, Swa on your own body, Sharirat Prabruhen, separate it, segregate it. How? Munjadi Veshikam Dhairyena. Munja grass has a stalk inside. Some of these grasses will have a outer cover, and then there will be an inner stem or a stalk. Then children play generally, sit by this grass and keep separating the cover from the inside stalk. This is a typical thing. So, like the munja grass stalk which is inside, but it is covered by very sharp edged leaf-like things, which can even prick you. So how do we remove that inside one? Because we need for our rituals and other things. So how do we remove? Carefully you have to remove the outer cover and remove the stalk from inside and then use it. So like that carefully you should analyze body as separate from the Atman. Don't think body is everything, and because Atman is not seen, don't think Atman does not exist. Like the stalk exists inside the munja grass, Atman exists, but covered by the Deha body consciousness. And so the slowly and carefully, Dhairyena here means many ways. Dhairya, Dhira, of a good buddhi, discriminating buddhi. Also Dhairya means patience. With great patience you must separate the two. If you rush and hurry to realize Brahman without having prepared your Indriyas, mind and buddhi, you can be yoga bhrashta. So it takes its own time. That is why in the beginning it says, Na shanta manasopi. The one who has no patience to realize Brahman, such a person also is of no use. They will not attain. So you put your efforts, wait for the results to come. That's why I said, do your best and leave the rest. Whatever is being told by Upanishad, follow that. Discriminate, Shreyo, Preyo, Indriya Nigraha, Manasam, Atma Vinigraha, and all that thing that has been told, Sattva Buddhi, meditations, practice all that and then leave the results to Brahman. Because ultimately he has to come and reveal. Tasyaisha Atma Vivrudate Tanum Swam. Vivrudate, on its own it will reveal its form. You can't force it out of Brahman. It thinks you are ready, Tattva Bhava Prasidati, happy with you, it will come and make it available to you. So like we segregate the munja stalk from the grass with great patience and great perseverance, like that you separate this Deha Bhava from the Atma Bhava. And stop thinking you are the body and suffering because of that. You are Atman only. Like the Paramahamsa who separates Nitya from Anitya, or an ordinary Hamsa which separates milk from water. So similar idea. And once you separate that, what do you know? Tam Vidyat. That one once you know, what do you know? Shukram Amritam. That is Shukram, pure. Though the body is contaminated with Jara, old age, sickness, diseases, holy and unholy things, vices and virtues, that one remains pure inside. Atman is unaffected by all that your body and mind does. Amrutam, and it is immortal because body dies. So when you remove this Dehabhimana from the Atma Bhava separate, what do you learn? One, that your Atman was never contaminated because your body was contaminated. Two, Atman was never dying though body dies. That's why Shukram Amrutam. It is pure and immortal. And as if to conclude it, Tam Vidyat Shukram Amritamiti. Know that one as that which is pure and immortal. It doesn't die with your body, nor it gets dirtied with your body. So all those who have done enough mistakes should not start grieving, oh, I have no refuge now. Why? Because I've done so much nonsense in my life? I don't think. No, that Amritam and Shukram has not get contaminated. Even now time is there. That's why I say in spirituality it's never too late, nor it is ever too early. Any time you start walking the path is the right time. Neither too early it is, nor it is too late. Any time when this thought comes, I must take to the path of Brahman, don't postpone it for another moment. Start then and now, here and now. Final concluding shloka of this Upanishad. Mrityu proktam nachiketo atha labdhva vidyametam yoga vidhim chakritsnam brahma prapto virajo bhudvi mrityuhu anyopyevam yo vidadhyatmameva. Yes, so he says mrityu proktam, this truth of Kathopanishad which has been spoken by whom? By Yama, Mrityu. And Nachiketo atha labdhva, and who has received it? Nachiketa. What kind of labdha he is? Kushala asya labdha. And what kind of prokta it is? Ascharyo prokta. So Ascharya Vakta has spoken. And who has received? Kushala asya labdha. A very fit disciple has received this knowledge. Then Vidyam etam, this Vidya. What? As I said, Atma Vidya. All other Vidyas are Avidyas only. Apara Vidya is Avidya. Para Vidya is the true Vidya. So here he has used Vidyam etam, this particular knowledge of self that has been spoken by Mrityu and received by Nachiketa. Yoga Vidhim, and all the process, how this yoga should happen. Yached Vang Manasi, all that Pragnya, Tadyached, Shanta, Jnana Atmani, and how we should do, how we should control the Indriyas, how we should choose the right over wrong, we should be very discriminating and careful, we can sleep anytime, and carefully analyzing that we are not the body, we are the Atman, establishing ourselves in that thought, giving up all other desires and vasanas of the world, one realizes Brahman, Amrutos Bhavanti. So that way all this yoga vidhi, all the process has also been taught, Chakritsnam, means all this has been finished now. So the Kathopanishad is ultimately coming to a conclusion that all that had to be spoken has been spoken by Yama and has been completely, Labdhva means not just intellectually understood. Nachiketa has completely grasped it, caught it. He has become one with the knowledge, and Vidyametam Yoga Vidhim Chakritsnam, all this Vidya about Brahman and the process to attain it, everything has been told to you clearly, all that has been done. So now what happens? Brahma Papto. Nachiketa will attain Brahman. He has attained Brahman because of having heard and followed this method. Virajo, he has become Virajo. Means no Raja, Rajoguna, Raja, attachments and all desires. Viraja is free from that. Bhut, Vimrutyuhu, he also has become Vimrutyu. He has escaped the Mrutyu. He has escaped the Mrutyu. Means he is going back home is one thing. Second thing he has got rid of the fear of death. Now he has become free from the fear of death. He has become free from all attachments and desires, and therefore he has attained Brahman. So one may ask, Nachiketa attained it, Yama told it and Nachiketa, here you told and we heard. Now what is our plight? What is our gati? This says, Anyopi evam yo vidadhatma eva. Those others also who listen and learn this, they also will become Brahma Prapto, Virajot and Bhut Vimrutyuhu. They also will attain desirelessness. They also will attain immortality. They also will attain Brahman. Whoever else also listens and practices Yoga Vidhim. The process that has been given in this Kathopanishad, anyone else also listens and practices, such a person also will become Brahma Prapto, attains Brahman, and Virajo, becomes free from all the desires and attachments of the world. The first one is Dehabhimana, body consciousness, and Bhut Vimrutyuhu. He becomes realized one because he has become immortal. He is no more having fear of death, disease, positive, negative, neutral. Nothing matters to this person anymore. He has gone beyond. So this is the ultimate blessing of Kathopanishad. Iti Katakopanishadi Dvitiyadhyaye Tritiya Valli. And the final Sahana Vavatu again comes back, and this time Shankaracharya says why this is being chanted again at the end, because we have finished studying now. So Guru goes his way, Shishya goes his way, why we have to pray again? He says that in case we have made any mistake during the process of learning and teaching, Mean mistake can be on both the sides, the Guru's side as well as the Shishya's side. Somewhere some words have been missed out, misspelt, mispronounced. Some meanings have not been conveyed accurately or correctly. There can be many kinds of mistakes that can happen. So our Gurus are so humble. In Taittiriya Upanishad it says, when he is instructing the Shishya at the end of the education, the Guru says in Shishyanushasnam that he says, only those things which have been done correctly by us, please follow that. And if we have made a mistake, please don't follow that, he says to the Shishya. Yanyasmakam sucharitani tani tvayopasyani no itarani, he says. Whatever good I have done, whatever good behavior I have demonstrated in front of you in the ashram, tani tvayopasyani. So those only you please pick up. The Guru could have done many mistakes in the ashram. So don't pick up those habits. Pick up the good things that I have done. And if there is any mistake, please ignore that. Pick up the good thing. Yanyasmakam sucharitani tani tvayopasyani no itarani. Please accept the good that you have learnt in this place, through this chapter, through this lesson, even from the Guru, and ignore the wrong. Don't follow the wrong. Taittiriya Upanishad says. Similar thought that if there is any mistake that has happened in this process of learning or teaching, we should seek forgiveness of the Brahman. With that idea, we chant the final mantra and also pray that this knowledge remains in our head and doesn't disappear by tomorrow morning's breakfast time. It remains forever because this is Brahma Vidya. This is not easy to get.